Check out thechosenprime.com in the link in the description below for this and other great items. Welcome everyone to another Radio Free Cybertron review. I'm your host Diecast, and today we have Bullsfire Airstrike. Now I know everyone's going to be like, you're a little late to the game on this figure, and that's true. There are some reviews out there of this figure, which you can go check out. But the reason I'm doing this review is Bullsfire was nice enough to send this to me to do a review, and it's a great time to do a review because a lot of the places to get these toys, like Chosen Prime, actually have this at a discount right now compared to what it was when it came out, which was $199 US dollars. And now you can pick this up. I believe the Chosen Prime has him for 149. Let's go ahead and get into the packaging. As you can see right up front, it's very similar to the Masterpiece style packaging. You have Ultimate Collection, Dino Force series. This is their first figure that I'm aware of that Bullsfire has done, and hopefully there will be more figures if you go in on this, or if you just want, a different swoop than what's available right now. This is DB01 Aerial Assaulter. On the top here, you have him in Dinobot mode and robot mode. On the back, you have start, change to finish. He actually does come packaged in robot mode, so when we take him out of the box, we will start the transformation from robot mode to Dinobot mode. See the contents. He has the sword, the two launchers, and Airstrike himself. On the side here, Ultimate Collection, Dino Force series. Just like on the Masterpiece boxes, I really like the attention to detail on the box. After I dropped it. And then when you open it up, there's a nice cardboard section with the plastic, and if you can see the background on there, it's very G1 with the purple squares. You have your instructions, which could be better. Not the best instructions. And then the back, just like a tech detail schematic of Airstrike. 16 plus transformation manual. And then it also comes with this is the bag that the instructions come in. It also says get a free DB01 add-on. Visit bullsfire.com and enter the following code. I guess I should block out that code, but I'm not sure what that add-on is, and honestly, I'm not sure if that will still be provided or not. If anyone knows what that add-on part is, please leave me a comment in the comment section, because I would love to know what that part is. I wonder if it's something great that we're missing, or if it's just something that you're not really going to miss at all. So let's go ahead and take a look at Airstrike. Here he is. And he is very nice. He's very G1, very toy accurate. There are some reviews out there that show they actually have a G1 swoop, so they can show the differences between the G1 and the toy and Airstrike, and the wings match up pretty good compared to the G1 toy. Do like that the missile launchers can come off, and not only do they come off, but they have two pegs to hold them in, so you don't have to worry about if they're pointing the wrong direction. You can still kind of Oh no, it's a square peg, so they only go one way. You can't tilt these up. If you must have them going straight up, you have to eliminate the wing tilt. Then up top here, he does have some missiles that rotate and some claws. And just for size comparison, before we get into all his articulation, bring in the current Combiner Wars Prime, and we'll bring in Bumblebee, just to give you an idea where he fits in. Get these guys out of the way, and then we're also gonna bring in one other figure that a lot of you are gonna want to see comparisons to, and that's Fans Toys Soar. And you can see Fans Toys Soar is a good amount bigger. See, I don't even have my camera set up for Soar. He is a good amount bigger than Airstrike. Just give you a side shot there from the back, and the other side. But there's a lot of similar detailings between the two. As you can see with Chrome, the red hat, he has a silver face, whereas he has a black face with a little bit of silver there. I don't have his accessories out. They're in the box somewhere. The feet for the, right on the knees, and right up in the chest. And that's pretty much it. So go ahead and put Soar off to the side so we can focus on Airstrike here. Articulation wise, he does have ankle tilts. It is minimal, but it is there. He can bend at the knee a full 90 degrees. His leg can go out, it can go back, but when it goes back, this Dinobot foot kind of gets in the way, so it can't go back that far. They do have a upper thigh rotation. Arms are on a very soft ratchet. Can almost get a 360 out of them. He take the sword out of his hand for now. He does have a double elbow joint, so you can get his arm almost all the way up. And one of the really nice features I like about Airstrike is his arm articulation. When you move his arm up, that shoulder pad slides up, and I really like that in this figure. I mean, it's not something that has to be there, but it's definitely really appreciated. It's just little small bits of engineering that they did that I think, while this isn't the best figure out there, I think there is hope for this company to produce some better figures. And this does just pop off. It kind of popped out of line there. So I just popped that back on. Yeah, there you go. So there's 3 dots. You want it to be on that the top one in order for his arm to rotate outright. He has an upper bicep swivel. Wrist does swivel. One thing about the hands, which is really strange, they have the joints at the fingertips, so you can individually move the fingertips, but there's a solid pin through right at the next joint, so the fingers, other than the fingertips, all move together as one. The thumb is on a little bit of a ball joint, So you can have it up or off to the side if he's grabbing something like his sword. Then we'll come up to his head. His head is also on a ball joint. It can do a full 360. He can look up. He can look down. Although when he looks down, he's kind of looking into the hole where his head goes in Dinobot mode. You can bring this forward if you want. Actually, that might be the right position for it. I kind of had his head back a little bit. But now that I'm... it's going to be personal preference for you, honestly. If it's going to be forward like that or back. I kind of think I like it sitting further back a little bit as opposed to forward. So he's decently articulated. Wings, of course, can go up and down, back and forth at this hinge and also this hinge. So the tips cannot move, and that is a single hinge with a metal peg through it. Now, like I said, this is how he comes out of box pretty much. The first part of the transformation is actually, probably the hardest and scariest part about the transformation. His beak is clipped in by these side panels right here, or these chest pieces. And what you have to do is rotate these a little bit so, and I don't even know if it's going to show on camera, so the peg pops out. And if you do that on both sides, just like so, then you'll be able to lift his Dinobot head out and then collapse the head into the back there. Now it doesn't tab in, so it is a little bit loose, but and you can see sometimes there's a little bit of a gap on top of his head, but it's not terrible. So we'll just rotate that back. You can feel it click into place, just like so. On the back here, before we get too far into the transformation, I do want to plug the sword in, which you can do right on the back like that, and that'll give him a tail in Dinobot mode. So come back up. Now we're going to want to pull this whole back section up, and it slides up just like so. And then these chest pieces, we're going to rotate all the way around and then flip up. And this is another thing that, flip them all the way around so they're upside down, and then just rotate that up. Now this is another part that was pretty frustrating. These are just like the Masterpiece Seekers, where they rotate up and form this middle section, and these pieces right here slide across. That way when you rotate it up, they can come together. I did have to loosen the screw on mine because the screw was tight enough that it's on this. When I was rotating it, it was tightening it even more, so I couldn't move this blue piece up into the center of his chest panel. So what I had to do is I had to take these two screws off right here. Bring that in for you. Take those two screws off, and that allowed this whole back section to come off with his wings. And then there was a screw kind of right back in there that I had to loosen. That way the chest panels, I could rotate that one side all the way up. The other side wasn't an issue, probably because it was loosening it as I was rotating it up. I don't know why they couldn't use a solid peg to there. It would have made a lot more sense, but that was just one issue I had with that. Now, when you come in to fold in the arms, you want to press this shoulder piece down. Same thing on this side, which they actually kind of go down naturally on their own. And then we're going to fold in the fingers and rotate in the hand. Now we rotate the bicep swivel and the whole arm piece, barring you probably want to help this with a little bit of clearance. Just rotates in like that. Same thing on this side. Make sure the thumb's down properly, otherwise you're not going to be able to rotate in the hand. And the hands can pop off. They are just on a peg. So if you bend it and it pops off, that's okay. It'll just pop right back on. Same thing on this side. Rotate in. And then there's another peg on the back here that will clip in to the metal panel. And that is something you kind of gotta just squeeze in there. It's a very tight fit for everything. And then there you go. You can see that just squeezes in right there. So now that his hands are all in, I just have to come down and do the legs. We'll flip his feet around. If his wing's not in the way. To the front. Then come around to the back. On top of his back, there's these two panels. We'll just flip them down real quick. They also do not stay level to his back. They kind of stay at the angle, more so on this one side than the other side. But then the feet come down here and they just push in. And then the legs come up onto his back just like Soar. And there's a clip or a peg right here and a peg hole right there on his back. And what you have to do is you have to get them in that one hole. And then what it says to do is just press on the leg up right above the knee. And that kind of straightens everything out. Now that adds another word of caution on this figure. When you're taking the legs off, you kind of want to pull up from the back of the leg as opposed from the top of the foot, because if you pull at the top of the foot, you're going to risk breaking that chrome where the hole is for the peg for the foot. And this still isn't in properly. But once you do that, I think these arms are in. Yeah, my mistake on these arms. They come in, shoulder pads come in and down on the side of the arms. So that was my fault. I apologize about that. I did only transform this guy one time before this because I didn't want to. I felt like I had it down pretty good. It's not a terribly hard transformation, but then you can see the arms and the center kind of sit in like that, and his head still can move a little bit even with the center chest panel in, which is nice. So we'll extend the arm, bring the legs around, and he can stand surprisingly well. Definitely a lot better than Soar could stand, which is really nice that he's able to do that. You can pose him however you want. You can slide these guns out of the way to kind of feature his front claws more. And then as far as articulation in Dinobot mode, his arms can flap. They can go in and out. Same thing with that top joint. Then his legs, for some reason, have a upper thigh swivel and can bend at the knee, and the front and back claws on the foot can bend. So let's go ahead and bring in some other Dinobots just to kind of compare them. Here he is with Masterpiece, or not Masterpiece. Here he is with Scoria and Masterpiece Grimlock. Kind of get these all in. And I do really like how he fits in Dinobot mode with these guys. He fits in really nice. I think he's the perfect size for display with these guys. Again, that's all personal preference, but I mean, he can even stand on the back of Scoria if you want. They just look really good together. Tilt that up for you. So I think there is a lot of value in this figure if you're looking for a smaller Swoop. He definitely can fit in your collection and look good with other companies' Dinobots. Not sure about all the Dinobots out there, but at least in the Masterpiece scale, he does kind of fit in. And let's go ahead and get these guys out of the way. And we'll do a comparison with Fans Toys Soar. So here he is in Dinobot mode. Straighten out his wings, and you can see their wingspan is actually pretty. I can't even get it on camera. Their wingspans are actually pretty close to each other. Not too far off. I can never get Soar to stand, so we're gonna leave it like that. And his mouth can open. Airstrike's mouth can open, as well as Soar. They have the same detailing inside with the little cannon or fire tube. Um, Airstrike is mouth is a little loose, and I like the head sculpt better of Soar, but I'm looking at Airstrike and I almost prefer Airstrike, or I do prefer Airstrike in Dinobot mode. And like I said, Soar just may be a tad too big if I was gonna pose them in Dinobot mode. Now Soar in robot mode is the perfect size for me for, my MP shelf. So I think that's where Soar's gonna stay. He's gonna stay in robot mode. And Airstrike I'll leave in dinosaur mode or pterodactyl mode or pterodon mode, whatever you call him now. And the only thing I did forget to show off in the video is that these these launchers can come off. They don't fire, even though this red piece was made to look like the firing missile, just like the G1 toy had. And then if you flip this down, this becomes a handle that Airstrike can hold in his hand. And same thing on this one. So they do come apart if you want to act like he had just fired his missile. And then, so there you have it. That's Bullsfire Airstrike. Like I said, I definitely think it could fit in your collection, depend on how you display your figures. Um, he is probably worth the price of admission where he is now. I don't know that I could have recommended him at $200. And I also hope that Bullsfire does do another figure and maybe improves on this figure, because I do think there's some things that are decent in this figure that could be brought over or improved upon on a future release. One of the things I forgot to mention that I like a lot is his arm has a piston in the back of the elbow when you move that back and forth, which is a nice detail. Um, so there you have Bullsfire Airstrike.